Welcome back, everybody. Our friend Jamie over at JH586. Go check his channel out. He's a good guy, good friend, and he hosts the Georgia Shooting Connection on Friday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. Look for him. Come join us in the chats. We have a lot of interesting topics we cover. But he did a 6 guns I wouldn't part with video. So he called out everybody in our community to do this, and I thought I would chime in on 6 guns I wouldn't part with. Most of these have sentimental value. The first one is an FN Mauser M 1935. This is nothing special really. It's Peruvian Mauser. It's in 30-06, very smooth. This thing has been very well broken in. It's been broken. I broke the stock in my younger years. I had it strapped across my back on an ATV. I flipped over backwards, landed on the rifle, and broke the stock. So I put this Hogue overmolded stock in here. I put a Timney trigger. It breaks right now at about 3.5 pounds. Beautiful. This rifle has brought home more deer than I could even count. In fact, I was trying to count how many deer this rifle has harvested. I couldn't even begin, but I know for the first 12 years that I hunted, every year I brought home at least one deer. In our state, we are only allowed one, so sometimes other people would have to tag my extra deer, get a little carried away. But this 30-06, it's pretty incredible, but my eyesight isn't as good as it used to be, so I don't do as well as I used to. Most of my rifles now have magnified optics on them, but this rifle here still holds a lot of sentimental value. Like I said, it was my grandfather's, and I don't think he ever failed to bring a deer. I know my dad, he never failed to bring a deer home with this. Every year this thing harvested. It's an awesome shooter, even at its advanced age. I don't know, you do the math, what, 85 years? So like I said, it's a 1935. It's pretty incredible, made in Belgium. And let's set that over there. The next one is a Remington 722. This rifle was made, when I called Remington, they said it was made by the serial number 1953. My grandmother bought this rifle brand new, and she was an incredible huntress. And she got a lot of deer with this. Heck, my uncle and I, we used to go out squirrel hunting, and he brought a lot of squirrels home with this. So it's in 722 Remington. It's a very decent rifle. I did a trigger job on it, and it breaks right at 2 pounds. I blued it. I cleaned up the trigger. I probably cleaned the trigger up a little too well. I put this scope on here. This is nothing special, just a Bushnell 3-9 by 40 illuminated reticle, and this thing shoots lights out. I'm telling you, it easily shoots half minute of angle all day long, and it doesn't matter who gets behind it. Everybody has the same success. It's got 5R rifling. Again, it's in 222 Remington. It's very low recoil, and that's probably why my grandmother got it, because of the low recoil. Because my mother, she loved shooting this rifle so much, she went out and bought herself a Remington 700 BDL to match this, and unfortunately it was stolen, or else I would have that one also. And it was in 222, and I know that my mom brought down a lot of deer. So hunting kind of goes in my family. In case you haven't ever seen any of my videos, I do quite a few videos with this, and I deliver the goods every time I get behind there. My wife, she shoots this, and she loves it, even though it's quite long. It's got 26-inch barrel on it, and but it has very low recoil, and my wife just loves shooting this as much as I do. So I would never part with this. Again, sentimental, but it's also just a great shooter. The other one, this is Glenfield. It's made by Marlin, and as you can see, I've slick this up a little bit. This was my uncle's rifle. It's in 30-30, and it's JM stamped on there. So it's a JM Marlin basically. It's got a little bit different grips on it, a little bit different or a little bit different checkering in the grips and forearm. And this doesn't shoot too bad. I just don't do a lot of shooting with it. It's 20-inch barrel. It does okay. Like I said, my uncle had this rifle. He bought it brand new in, I believe, 74 or 75. I can't remember the exact year, but it's a mid-70s rifle, so you know that it's going to be fairly decent fit and finish. And it really is. I mean, even for being a Glenfield, which I believe he bought this at Western Auto in a little town where he lived. And he brought home quite a few deer with this. He, unfortunately, he was only 10 years older than I was, so he's more like a big brother to me. But just before he passed away, he gave this to my dad, and my dad told me that when he passed away that it was going to be mine. So again, another sentimental inheritance, and I'm very pleased to have it. I'll probably get out and do a little bit more shooting with this. I've got some load development. I've got a bunch of cast bullets for this to load up, so I'll be doing a little bit more of that this year. Okay, moving on to handguns. I set that there. Jerry 1911. This is my Kimber stainless Target 2. I bought this pistol in, I believe, 2005. It's a 2004 model, is what Kimber tells me. And I've shot a lot of ammunition out of this. Probably close to 20,000, maybe 30,000 rounds. About 5 years ago, the mainspring in the back, the three-fingered mainspring back here, one of the fingers broke off, so it wasn't getting a sear engagement, and this thing went full auto. Fortunately, I shot this enough throughout my years that it didn't throw me off. I didn't shoot the sky or anything, but I immediately contacted Kimber, sent this back, and originally I had the external extractor on it. Now it's internal. That's how Kimber does things now. They put a new slide, new springs all the way through it. They went through and tested all the parts, make sure that everything else was in good shape. They said they couldn't believe that the barrel, for as many rounds it's been through it, just getting a little bit of wear through here, but they couldn't believe that for as many rounds that went down this pistol, that it was still as tight as it was. And it is. I mean, there is no play in that bushing. It still shoots lights out, even as old as it is. But this is one of my favorite pistols. I paid a lot for it when I got it. Not a expense that came easy for me at the time. I didn't make a whole lot of money, and this was a lot of money. Anybody that goes and prices Kimbers will know. But I wanted something that would be reliable and would deliver the goods, and this does. So I put the fiber optic front sight on there because I was shooting USPSA competition and I need to be able to acquire my sights. And ever since then, I've gotten quite addicted to fiber optic sights. My Glock, which I had been shooting before this, I put fiber optic front sight on there, and that's why I put the fiber optic on here, because I could acquire my target so much faster. So, my Kimber 1911, Jerry 1911, you get it? Okay, recently, I just bought a Ruger GP100 model 1773, I believe. It's either 1773 or 1776, I can't remember. This 6-inch barrel. That's why I want to say it's a 1776, even though for some reason, I'm thinking it's 1773. But this is a 7-shot, 6-shooter. Count them. There's 7 holes there. Stainless steel. double action. And when I was looking at the pistols, I was comparing the Ruger GP100, which has a really good track record, the Smith & Wesson 686 Plus, because it's 7-shot also, and the Taurus 627 Tracker, which has ported barrel, and it's also a 7-shot. I was comparing all three of them. The Taurus kind of went by the wayside really fast for two reasons. The trigger was a little gritty, and it had a key, a lock on it. So it came down to the Smith & Wesson 686 Plus and the Ruger GP100. We analyzed both side by side for close to 3 hours. I walked out with this one. It's got a 7.5-pound double action trigger pull. It's incredibly smooth. Single action, 4 pounds. I mean, no creep. It's just dead on. It's got the fiber optic front sight on it. Again, I love the fiber optics. Everybody that shot this has remarked just how smooth it shoots, how accurate it is. And a couple of weeks ago, I was out on the desert shooting with my good friend Lakeview Outdoors. Go and check his channel. And he was ringing the plate at 100 yards with this 8-inch steel plate with this. So I would say it does the job. I'm still suffering with my shoulder, so I'm not even trying for accuracy. I'm just trying to stay somewhat proficient. So I do shoot this every chance I get, and hopefully I'll get a lot more 357s loaded up here soon. I'll get out to the desert as soon as the weather breaks. Another thing I liked about this is the push in. It's more natural for the cylinder release, instead of push forward like Smith & Wesson does, or pull back, which is completely unergonomic in my view. And that's what the Colt has, but there's no way I was going to buy a Colt for $1,400. Sorry about that, my dog. He's all excited. So yeah, I would never part with this GP100. My last firearm I would never part with is my everyday carry gun. See, I got my self-defense ammo in there. Okay, so this is a Ruger EC9S. I carry it every day. I painted the sights. These have milled in sights. The LC9 had removable dovetailed sights, but Ruger, trying to keep the costs down, they just mill it into the slide. I was really skeptical at the time when I bought this, because I thought, no, there's no way that this is going to be accurate with milled in sights. But by golly, here's another one that delivers the goods. I brought it down to the Uncle Jim shoot and had several people shoot it, and they couldn't believe how ergonomic it was. For one thing, when you've got the magazine in, it's got the pinky grip, and it's very compact. I carried appendix carry in my DeSantis holster, and it's just a nice compact little unit, and it shoots point of aim. I can't believe it. It doesn't matter if I'm shooting 5 yards or 25 yards, it's point of aim. And another thing I like is carrying. I have a safety. That's kind of an important feature for me, because having the trigger dingus is one thing, but I like to have that extra little bit of safety. And since I'm used to manual of arms for a 1911, that's normal for me. As soon as I come out of the holster, I automatically flip the safety off with my thumb. So it's something that I do. It's something that I've done for years, and it really doesn't have, for a micro, this one's only 15 ounces. For a micro, or subcompact, I guess you'd call it, it doesn't have the muzzle flip that a lot of the smaller ones do. and it gets right back on target. So I'm really pleased with this little Ruger EC9S. And there are my 6 guns that I wouldn't part with. What do you all think? I'm not going to call anyone out in particular. Jamie just made a shotgun call out to everybody, so I'm doing the same thing. Anybody that wants to have 6 guns you couldn't part with video, hit us up. Give a like. Give a comment. I want to know what y'all think. Catch you next time.